Welcome back to another episode of Culture Unplugged. I am here proudly in the home area of DC with my two greatest gentlemen that I love hanging out with, Mr. Richard Taylor and Anton. And they're with Harrison Blake Apparel for their custom suiting event right here in DC, of course, like I mentioned. I want to be able to navigate both of you guys because the subject I want to talk about is focusing on why a custom suit. Why is that important for someone versus maybe a department store suit, like a Macy's, a Dillard's? Is there any significance to that?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the main things that comes to mind, the first thing you're going to get with custom is variety. As you can see here, there's a plethora of options. When you go to a department store, a lot of times you're going to see 10, 15, 20 different styles of suits. Blues, grays, tans, safe colors. With custom, sky's the limit.
Okay. So I'm going to pose this question over to Anton here. When I think about a suit, obviously when I go someplace, I'm going to get a deal. Sometimes I'm going to get a 2-for-1. I may spend $500, $600. Do you have an idea, for that person that says, well, why should I take that extra amount of investment? And what does that investment look like for someone to get a suit like that?
So I guess what a person needs to understand at a certain point that it's not locking anybody out of anything, but it's levels to everything, right? And many times when you're going to a store and you're getting 2-for-1 deals or 3-for-1 deals, they're only able to do that because they're mass producing the suit. And generally the quality of the fabric is not going to be on par with what you're going to get through a full custom suit. And the other thing that you're going to have to worry about is if it's a popular suit, 38 guys are going to have the same exact suit that you have in various sizes. So what the custom realm allows you to do, and with us, we do offer deals. It's never going to be a 2-for-1. So don't, unless you're buying, 3 or 4 suits or something like that, then yes, we can, throw you a suit. But like I just said, there's levels to it, so it really is this. We have entry level suits, we have our mid-tier suits, and then we have like our premium level suits, which we have different names for. But coming in, don't expect, to come out with a 2-for-1 because it's just not what we're about. And we couldn't even extend the quality and the service that we'd like to be able to extend, doing 2-for-1 sets. We couldn't afford to be in a venue like this and to come here and to, be able to spend the time we can spend with our clients doing 2-for-1 deals. It's just not feasible. So
understood. And I talk about quality over quantity a lot over at the channel of Cultural Unplugged, and I talk about how important it is to get something that it will last for a long time. So when they get something custom and they get something personalized, are they gonna get? Do you feel like they'll get that more of that alpha? You hear that term, alpha man type of look. What does that look like for them? Do you think they'll get that kind of look? And then what do you think the range is for something like an investment like that?
I definitely think you're going to have a better experience. First off, the suit is going to fit you a lot better. So that's the most important thing.
That's it right there.
That's going to boost your confidence.
Okay.
If you're a bigger guy, getting a custom suit actually will visually take off about 20 pounds off of somebody. Okay. And if you're somebody who's on the thin side as well, it's tough to go get an off-the-rack suit because it's going to be too loose on you. So this cures a lot of those problems. So definitely it'll boost your confidence, getting you up to that alpha level, if that makes any sense.
So as far as in terms of the first ever, you sit down with a client, you sit down with someone, what's the first recommendation that you would say as far as like custom they can just go with? Is it something like that's really outlandish and wild, or is it something that's something like what you have on, Mr. Anton? That green is really popping. I'm just gonna let you know right now.
No, I appreciate that. I think a lot of times, and I'm not even going to front, a lot of times when you go for your first custom experience, you kind of, like a lot of times people jump out the window because they're like, this is custom, I wanted to, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times you get a bolder pattern, but what people need to understand is that the bolder the pattern, the more memory people are going to have about it, right? So if you do something that's a little more subdued, something that you want to be like what we call rotational pieces, like if you're a person who has to dress up for work, if you get a really bold plaid, you can only wear that suit every now and then because they go, here you go, he looked great in it, but he wears that suit every Thursday. So the more subdued, the more you downplay the pattern or color of your suit, the easier it is. Like my recommendation is for a first suit, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Rich. I like to go staple colors, charcoal, a nice dark blue suit, or a brown suit. If it's going to be your first one. And within those, you can do some pattern or you can do some pinstriping, but you can't go wrong with those colors for a first one. You know, if you're trying to build a custom wardrobe.
Got it. Okay. So you talked about playing off of, you know, what you have in your wheelhouse as far as suits. You have different patterns and those things as far as what's going to look right, and it's going to give the appeal that you have many of that same type of variation, right? So for instance, is it better to get that variety, you know, starting off, or, you know, how custom can they get as far as a certain pattern? Because you have so many different options. What would you say, you know, recommended as far as shirts to match with them?
Again, you don't want to do too much when you just started, because if you don't have a really big wardrobe, you know, things that are really noticeable stand out, everybody will remember, just like Anton said. So it's better to start with the basics and build. And just think of this styling as a journey, you know, really putting some thought into your wardrobe and not just going out there and getting a bunch of things that's going to just shock people.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say real quick, most people don't have $3,000 to $4,000 to just, or $5,000 to just kind of overturn their wardrobe in one fell swoop, you know, where you can get 3 or 4 suits, 5 suits, 10, 15 shirts, you know, a couple pairs of slacks. And then, you know, you got $5,000, $6,000, you can turn over a wardrobe. But if you're working, you know, 1 to 2 suits a year custom, which is, I think, conservative, and most people can work that out. Then you want to start with some staple pieces. And then from there, you know, you can kind of branch out. So I would say get some staple pieces, some solids, maybe some pinstripes, some muted plaids or checkers. And then if you want to get your pieces, your standout pieces, then go for those later once you have 3 or 4 like staple pieces, I'd say.
I got you. Okay. Now, last question on this one, because we talk about being different. We talk about that as far as being uniquely to your own, how important it is to be your own person. So with the whole idea as far as you're in the media that, you know, guys who wear suits are coming down on a downturn. It's a downturn in those wearing suits. My whole point of it is that how important it is to be that different and be unique, to be that classic man. Like, I love wearing suits. I have to wear suits for my job. So for those people who wear occupations that are going to require them, where they may not be unsure, you know, where they can have that suit that's going to fit their personality. You know, where is some variety that they can kind of play around with, that it gives them that sense of confidence as well in the workplace, and it gives them some sense of, you know, characteristic as well.
Well, I think, you know, some of the statistics say that there is a downturn in suits, but hopefully we see that turn around pretty soon in the near future. But one of the other things is you don't have to just wear the suits for work. Suits can be dressed up, suits can be dressed down, can be worn for doing all kinds of different things, out to dinner, dates, of course, job interviews, weddings, things like that. But also, I challenge people to try dressing up, wear a suit on the weekend, go out on a Saturday, do your normal activities in the suit, go out to dinner in the suit, and then report back to Culture Unplugged how that experience went. I guarantee you, you're gonna get a lot better service, a lot more respect from everybody you encounter, and a lot more opportunities coming your way simply by the way you're dressed.
And I know we talked at some point, we've shared some, you know, why it's important to have that appeal, have that look,
right?
And it gives you a sense of, you know, based on how you're treated. When you wear suits all the time, Mr. Taylor, and then you wear a suit too with Mr. Hanton. Give me some background on what is a general reaction from the public, because I'm sure you get a lot of different reactions.
If you don't mind me jumping in real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, no nonsense. A suit commands respect. Period. I don't care if you're at the coffee shop that we went to this morning up the street, or you're walking down the road. I always say this. I'm not saying this is how it should be, but this is how it is, right? And it is that, you know, when you navigate a space and you're dressed well, they don't know who you are, but they know that you could be nobody, but you are something until they figure out you're nobody. And we're probably never going to give them an opportunity to figure out, you know,
Right.
of course, you know, not that we're
Sure.
but it commands respect. It's like the opposite of, you know, innocent until proven guilty. Like you're somebody until they can prove otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So they skew to giving you more respect, to serving you better, because they have no clue who you are. I can't, you know, tell you the times that we've been out together, that we've been places, and they just don't know who we are. You know, they don't know who we are, but they rather err on the side of, well, let's serve them pretty well, let's treat them halfway decent. And there may be a day when that gets challenged. You know, we might not be able to say this anymore, but right now we're batting pretty good when we're together and we dress up. And that's what we try to get other young men and grown men to understand, is that, you know, you don't have to be in a suit all the time, but if you are in a suit and you're trying to achieve certain things and do certain things, it's definitely not going to hurt you.
Sure.
It's not going to hurt you. It's probably going to help you.
I would just want to second that. It's an ultimate power grab. I have a sense of feeling when I come into a place and I like my mafia movies. I've always watched guys, you know, wear suits on those movies and command a certain level of respect. And for me, that's just always been true everywhere I've walked into. That was maybe even a subpar hole in the wall restaurant. Yeah. They're always like, oh, you know, what can we do for you, sir? You know, that kind of thing. But I've always appreciated that kind of level of confidence or respect. So as it may be, it sounds like, you know, having a custom suit gives not only the power grab as far as that confidence, but it gives you that uniqueness and that quality that you're looking for. And I always say longevity, it correlates with the quality. And and you're having both of those together, you're gonna have a suit for life. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, most definitely.
Awesome. Well, I do want to be able to share any, you know, final thoughts you may have regarding the subject and see what you think. Anything else you think we missed out on this one?
Not that we missed, right?
No.
But I might mess up the money a little bit, just a little bit, right? If you're not in a position to get into the point where you're in a custom suit, and we hope you get there and you know, contact us, work with us. Culture Unplugged has our info, and I'm sure he'll add our info here. And if you're not there, you know, whatever, you need some help styling, all kind of stuff, just reach out to us. But one thing I always like to say is, even if you have to at this point go to your local suit shop and get a suit, go get it tailored. At least go get it tailored, right? You're not done when you have to buy an off-the-rack suit now. But we would love for you to come and work with us, but everybody's not there yet, right?
Right, I understand, right.
And if you aren't there and you need to be in a space and you just have to have a suit, when you get that suit, make sure you got about $100, $150 to take that to a local tailor and get that thing fitted, because it's a bad fitting, ill-fitting suit is probably worse than having a suit on at all, because I'm not even gonna front. They're gonna clown you for it. They're gonna say, you're gonna walk in the room and they, oh, this guy thought he had a suit on. And I'm not trying to take up too much time, and I'm not trying to make this long, but I think it's important that it's not just being in a suit, it's being in a well-fitting suit. Whatever that suit is, if it's off the rack, if it's custom, whatever it is, your suit has to fit you well.
Real quick, so I wanted to add this too, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because I know a guy right now who he wears these suits that are so overly, I guess, much more room in places that just didn't need to be, and it gives him that super churchy look, if that makes sense. that Baptist church look. And that's the look you're going for, no problem. But it adds age to what I'm talking about. It adds the GP, the God's property type of look. So what I always suggest is getting something that makes it more modern and some more fitting. So listen, I hope that you enjoyed that gem that we just shared with you as far as how important it is to get a custom suit.
Much respect to all the nominations.
No beef there. No beef to your face.
Absolutely. But it just please more to be known is that we want to make sure you get the right look for the occasion for what you're trying to achieve. So it's always a Culture Unplugged. We appreciate you. We care about you, how you feel, how you look, and give you the best tips, lifestyle strategies, and mentorship. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we hope to see you again soon. I wanted to say thank you to the brothers of Harrison Blake Apparel. I appreciate you as always.
Thank you so much.
And also welcome to DC.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Absolutely.